Good afternoon, Bluebeamers. My name is Troy DeGroot, and I'm the Bluebeam Professional Services Director with U Chapter 2. And I'm excited to partner with the team at Brighter Graphics to deliver world-class Bluebeam training and customization services, empowering you to get the most out of your Bluebeam investment. Now let's have a look at a few examples. So we already looked at the snagging list, different examples here. Let's jump over to this development plan here. So for this one, I wanted to just show the same concept, but this time we're calling them phases. And so there's a couple different development areas here. And if I jump back to my spaces, add a space, and I'm just going to draw a box around here. Before I let go, I just wanted to note in that legend, it says I have 13 ramps, the double ramp, and 8 of the ramp handicap, radius one way. So those are two different types of ramps. These were tools that I built for a concrete contractor. So I'm going to let go now, and I'm just going to name this phase 1. And when I do that, it's automatically going to break out those counts by the space. So I'm going to say OK. It recognized that 5 of those are in phase 1, 4 of them are in phase 2. If I create another space over here, it's going to name it phase 2 automatically. If I go in order, I'm going to say OK. And now it added to my legend because I have phase 2. So there's 8 of them here, 5 in phase 1, so on and so forth. So you can break out large development plans like this by phases and do your quantities that way as well. The next example, similar. This is new development, or actually 3 different developments. And in here, what I've done is, for this example here, I created a space, which is this whole blue area, and then different proposed building sites. So here we've got a large retail chain, a restaurant, a couple of those. We've got retail here, and then residential, medium density residential, and then we have some low density residential down here. And it's all inside of that development that I've labeled with blue. And so using another tool called Quantity Link, which we're going to talk about next month in our webinar, I pulled the data from here into Excel and created this graph. So it's telling me the percentage of low residential and the percentage of medium and senior living and so on. So you're seeing those in a graph form that we can just paste onto this drawing. And this is a presentation that was done for these proposed developments. This is another one here, a large retail store, green space. We want to make sure we keep some trees and grass and some green space. So we drew those in here. Again, residential, medium density, a lot of businesses here, restaurants, so on and so forth, and a graph to indicate that development. Up here, another space in pink, and all the different types of buildings in here, and green space. Again, there's a path around this little pond along the river. This is garden store, and they have a basically a farm out here, farm field. And so that's all green space, and a graph that includes that. So all we did was create a space in pink, and then we had specific tools for the different types of buildings. We drew those in here. And we were drawing over top of a satellite image that we took for our presentation. Next one, let's jump over here. This was an estimate that I put together for erosion control. So if we look back at a previous drawing here, this one I used phases as well. So first phase, they came in and put the silt fence in, the construction drive, some matting around this pond, and so on and so forth. And then the second phase, on the next drawing, you can see they added in these drains. So we've got different pipe and inlets here. They put in another perimeter silt fence around the whole thing, and we broke those down by phase. So if I look at my markups list in this example, I've got phase 1 and phase 2. So it breaks out some of they might be the same materials, but they're in different phases. So that helps with estimating, it helps with delivery, all kinds of things when you can break those out by phase. And then the last one I want to show you is a trick that I developed a few years ago. I wrote an article for Bluebeam's Built blog on spaces, and in there I described how we can build assemblies using spaces. So in this example, I've got an elevation view of a building. This particular customer, I built tools for them to measure the glass panels. So glass 1, each one of these glass 1 types is tempered glass. So it's the ones that are closer to the ground so they don't break. And then above that, types 3 and 4 that were different colors or whatever the case might have been. And then I created count tools, custom ones. So instead of clicking on each side of each mullion to indicate a joint, I created one that accounts for 2. So I cut my clicks in half by just clicking on here once and getting each side. And then they also did, they wanted an area measurement for the entire square footage of that storefront. That's what they based their labor and shop time on. So we built that tool. And down here, you can see in my markups list that I've got a lot of different parts here. 53 different parts, G1, G4. I've got curtain walls also that I labeled CW, so curtain wall glass 2, so on and so forth. But it's just a big long list of panels and joints. So the trick that I developed was oftentimes on architectural drawings, they'll show this specific storefront, they'll give it a mark number. So that's exactly what I did with spaces. I go to my spaces panel, add a space, and then I can come in here and just draw a window around that storefront and give it a mark number. So storefront dash 10. And when I click OK, now it's telling me storefront 10, there's 15 parts. If I drag this up, you can see all of those individual parts for storefront 10. So now I have an assembly. I know all of the parts that are part of storefront 10 as a mark number. So that's just a trick that I developed a few years ago. Basically, I created a space just like I would on a floor plan, except it's bringing in all of those pieces for my elevation view of my storefront glass. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you learned a few things you can apply to your work immediately to help organize important information in your markups.